In other words, the only thing they have, the only thing they could have to link my client to those killings is the murder weapon. If I can jostle that keystone, then the rest of their case could start to come loose as well. Thanks for the chat, detectives. I think I understand the background well enough now. Candidly, I see the same strokes you do, and the picture it paints isn't pleasant. But even so, it seems a bit unrefined to be brought before a judge, don't you think? Hey, it's only our job to catch the bastard. The DA is the one who gets the conviction. Besides, we're not exactly going to have to work hard to convince anyone of his guilt. And why is that? Because we found a handwritten confession at his desk. I reckon his dominant hand is the one he's missing. And I reckon that the real Heartbreak Killer had access to his hand and used it to write the note. Well, that's unexpected. I'm sorry, you're now telling me he wrote a confession? Has it been verified? Not yet. We have to muscle past everyone in fraud and disinfo to get to the front of that line. Why bother? The note's covered in his fingerprints. There's a copy in the discovery data, but I should warn you, it doesn't exactly make for light reading. I'll have to manage somehow. I need to see this confession for myself. Sorry for everything. Can't say it enough. Didn't mean to hurt you or do what I did. Did not want any of this to happen. Can't stay in control when I get mad. When I'm not in control, I hurt people without meaning to. Wish I hadn't broken them. Yeah. Okay. Wish I hadn't broken them. Didn't mean to at first, but I was hurting. Wanted you to hurt you, but I didn't want to hurt you. Words aren't enough. I know that now. I'll take the responsibility and do what I've been avoiding. Please forgive me. I think that is him apologising for breaking a vase because of the ceramic. What were the pills? I can't remember. I can't see it right now. What were the pills? Rejection. If the rejection syndrome for the cybernetics. So depending on if she was modded, it's possible that he was suffering from the rejection syndrome. That was difficult to read. Barely legible, in fact. Right, because he would have written it with his offhand. Okay, no, I do think he wrote that. But I think he wrote it with his offhand. Well, got a spin on that? No need. But it's a confession. Not a confession that he signed, though, is it? Not yet. And not one he intends to sign anytime soon, considering he asked for representation. Yeah, the most wanted man in the city asked for a lawyer and got you. Guess you're both lucky. Hardly. I just happened to be awake when the call went out. And I'm not so flush with work that I can afford to turn tail now. So if you don't mind, I'd like to go and speak with my client. What? He's not still handcuffed in there, is he? Look, counsellor, with all due respect, we have strong evidence pointing to that man being responsible for 6 murders. 2 hours or so in cuffs isn't cruel or unusual. And that's for your safety as well. It's kind of you to worry, but I doubt I'll be in any danger. He's killed 6 women. None of them were redheads. Seriously, though, I'd like to speak to him alone now. Camera's off, if you don't mind. Mic's on or off is your call, counsellor. But we'll be watching the feed from right outside in case anything happens. And the cuff, that is, stays on. That worried about me? How chivalrous. Yeah, my armor's practically blinding. Gross. I'll start up the unlock cycle. God, I love these characters. They're so good. Oh. Counsellor, just one last word of advice. If you have any interest in his well-being, I'd suggest you help him sign that confession. Not a bad idea. I do get paid either way. But the defense part of the defense attorney isn't just for show, detective. I mean it. 6 people dead is one thing, but he's also caused weeks of widespread terror and public unrest. Putting it another way, he's made the state look bad. That's a capital crime if ever there was one. And even if the death penalty is not actually on the table these days, I can guarantee he's not going to like whatever rehabilitation plan they draw up for him. Look, I've seen the virtual work release program in person, and it's being challenged before the Supreme Court. Yeah, sometime in the next decade, maybe. Just remember, a plea deal might feel like a loss for you, but it keeps him from, well, it's probably a win for your client, right? Prison sentences are generally light for those who plead guilty, that much is true. Saves the courts a great deal of time and money, and they show their gratitude with reduced sentencing. But no one will ever be grateful towards the Heartbreak Killer. Anyone convicted for killing 6 people, they'll never rest their mind another day in their life. Okie dokie. And we're still going. So I just want to check where I'm at. The note, the revolver, suspect's prosthetic, grip strength, dexterity and low cost of maintenance, looks like a right hand. The coat the suspect was wearing, taken by lab techs, but initial tests show blood on the left sleeve. Agricultural genetics researcher, found shot through the heart. Pill organizer, here we are. Immune adjusters reduce moderate to severe discomfort arising from mod sensitivity complications. The case's clasps are surprisingly difficult to open. She was opening it for him because he's only got one hand and was struggling to open it, so she was helping him. So I reckon... No. I was going to say I reckon that their argument was because he's struggling to adjust to the mod. But that doesn't work because he didn't have the mod. He must have had it for a while and it's gone in for repair. So yeah, that doesn't work. Ceramic debris. I reckon that is a broken vase. Because it is a ceramic vase. Weighty and sturdy. Remains featureless even after being tossed. Standing mirror. Hit with enough force to shatter shards of glass onto the victim's body. Yeah. These two things, I reckon it's someone that he works with. But the fact that there are these two things which are presumably new damage, and they both note, assuming that the debris is related to the vase, which I reckon it is, because that's too big a coincidence, it seems to me that it had to be someone with a cybernetic mod. And he can't do it. He doesn't have the strength for it because he doesn't have his mod. And that is relevant. Body modifications, cybernetic prosthetics, seen throughout history. Yeah, okay. Wait, hang on, go back to that. Can you return mods? Can you undo mod surgery? God, I love how there's all this stuff that you can read. And it's just there to fill out the world. Bloody hell. Alright, I think we're good. As you were. It's depressing as hell in here. They need to liven this place up. Carlos flat, right? Hope you don't mind if I get comfortable. We've got a lot to cover, but they shouldn't take all night. What are you... Look, I already told you people, I'm not a cop, Carlos. Furthest thing from it. I'm a lawyer. Your lawyer, in fact. And I'm here to help you. Yeah, well, they said that too. All of them did. Back there, in here, keep repeating the same whole ride over. They said that they were going to help me, that they knew this was all a mistake. That they said that I killed... Acting like they're on my side and they thought that I could have... It's not their job to help you, Carlos. But it is mine, and I'm here now. He's still in shock. I need more information, but if I approach this the wrong way, he'll clam up even more. I'm sure you're exhausted. It's probably difficult to think, let alone speak. But I'd like you to try and answer a few questions. The police already question you, I'm sure. But they were treating you as a suspect, not as a client. Okay. So what do you want to know? What about you, the victim, and the moider? Let's start simple. Something mundane, grounded, rote. I'd like to know a bit more about you first, Carlos. Something like... What line of work are you in? I'm with city engineering. Or I was. I should be. As I thought the police must be convinced he mapped the optics blackouts using data he stole from work. My arm, I got it slotted for the job. And, Carlos, I'm gonna need more than that. So what do I know? He works in city engineering, not a desk job. Reyes said he was modded for work and that arm must be in custody at the moment, but based on his shoulder it'd have to be pretty... Oh! So he does have it. Sorry, I thought it went into repair work. Oh my god, there's a store? Store credit? Morgantime charm. Oh my god, you can get phone charms. Oh my god. Ah, oh, damn, reward for playing the demo. I tried to play the demo, but it, like, they'd removed it by the time I actually, between installing it, like, a few months ago and actually playing it now, they'd removed the demo. Damn. Alright, I can't find it. I was sure that they said, it was in for repair, but maybe it was like it had gone in and then came back out again. So maybe he did have it on him at the time, in which case that throws a lot of my theories out the window. Utilitarian, I've seen it. He doesn't strike me as the type who's enamoured with the aesthetics of modding. The young and the restless and the rich, swapping in neon and chrome limbs because they like the way it looks. Or the way it makes other people start looking at them. No, he's pragmatic, grounded, and very unlucky. In which case, I should be too. You know, my brother wanted to mod. Really? Really? I don't even have a brother. He had everything planned out, whole career path of promotions and bonuses and the upgrades they'd afford him. Then came his 18th birthday present, test results politely informing that he's not a viable candidate. That sucks. I think he felt relieved, actually. Seemed like it was a weight off his chest. Like he was glad he didn't have to choose. Does that make any sense? Yeah, I think it does. I always figured if I'd start at all, I'd start small. A hand or an eye, test the water. Fuck me. Is there such a thing as a small mod? To me, I'm just veering off, and we're already over. Yeah, whatever, I'm just going to go with it. Like, the thing I have with cybernetics is I'm really weird about, like, permanent changes. Like, I don't want to do, like, laser eye surgery because it involves permanently lasering your eye. And I don't like the sound of that. And it's the same with, like, dental work as well. Permanent changes really sort of... Ugh. So if it came to, like, yeah, chop off your hand and have a cybernetic one put on instead, that would freak me the fuck out, and I'm incredibly squeamish about my eyes, so start off small with a hand or an eye? Yikes. Like, I'd probably go with, like, if it was me, some sort of subdermal chip or whatever, you know, like maybe an interface chip or something like that, something not external, but, you know, that's just me. What about you? Never thought about lobbing my whole damn arm off, but the recruiter was enthusiastic. He said, because of the NCDA, there was financial aid and resources. Of course, that got shit-canned. So now me and every other modder is royally screwed. Couldn't even let me keep the tax credit. The New Citizens with Disabilities Act was amended, not repealed. But I doubt he'd appreciate the distinction in the moment. I work the tighter spaces, the high-volt environments, mostly canopy upkeep. Typical stuff for modders, you know? He's speaking freely now, don't need to do much more than repeat his words back to him to keep him talking. But the right word choice here or there can still make a difference. You work in the canopy, you must be under a lot of pressure. You must be under a lot of pressure now that the subways are cordoned off. Damn straight in this crap with Long. Once word got out that the case against him was real, every desk job in the chain became terrified of their own shadow. All of them convinced that internal affairs is going to come knocking if they misplace so much as a paperclip. Everything by the book means no room for compromise, no room for problem solving, no room for engineering. Yeah. And no patience for screw-ups. He's trying very hard not to look at his shoulder. Why aren't you wearing a prosthetic right now, Carlos? Yeah, that. Rejection issues started last month. A lot of sleepless nights. Rejection? Did the therapy not take? It's not like that. I wasn't oozing pus out my sockets or anything. Then do those rejection issues have anything to do with your scars? Not in the way you're thinking. Right. He's not very shaven, and the cuts are all around that area. So I reckon he's basically stopped wearing his arm, which feeds into the money problems they were having, and it means he's having to do stuff left-handed. Like, if he's right-hand dominant, writing with his left hand would explain why the note is barely legible, and shaving with his left hand would explain why he's covered in cuts and is poorly shaven. I could be a detective, I bet you. I'm right-handed. Yes! Yes! So those cuts on his face are just from shaving? Never thought this would go on so long I'd have to relearn how to do everything. I mean, the problem started small, trembling, but then spasms. Just oversensitivity, they said. An easy fix. But the problem got bigger? Couldn't let it get that far. Not to be able to trust your own hands when you're on the job site, drop a cutter at the wrong moment, and people could get hurt. So I sat down, made an appointment, turned in my arm, and watched my case get placed at the back of the damn line. Yeah, this is all going into a psyche eval that he is not a killer. Someone who is so concerned about other people's safety that he would basically give up his job is not the sort of person who'd commit 6 homicides. Where did you turn it in? Some mass turnaround chop shop with a waiting list like you wouldn't... Doesn't sound like you're a happy customer. So he doesn't have it back. I didn't think he did. Hell no. I've found a dozen other clinics with shorter wait times. But as long as I'm renting and not owning, the manufacturer decides where your arm gets maintenance. And that's why I'm sitting here with this expensive ass stump for a shoulder. I haven't been able to work in weeks. Yes, I'm glad I didn't misinterpret what was going on. Bosses were generous enough to say my position might still be there when I've got 2 working arms again. You couldn't buy or rent a replacement yourself just in the meantime? I serve at the pleasure of the state. And they've got exclusivity contracts with Hindi all locked up with white-knuckle tight. Hindi? How Industries? As I recall, he's registered with one of their Hibbolist models. If I took one step on site with uninsured tech, forget the fines, I'd lose the down payment and my arm. And I'd never work in this city again. If this was last quarter, maybe I could have worked something out with management, but like I said, no one's sticking their neck out for anyone now that longs in deep hot shit. You mentioned discomfort. Are you in any pain? Pain will come and go. It's the itches that'll kill you. Itches, yep. Goes more to the medication he was getting. And the phantoms come back pretty fast when I don't have anything. Arm-shaped, attached to me. Didn't they give you something to, well, wear in the meantime? Something the clinics lend out for cases like this? Well, they gave me as a dead-weight, 3-jointed landfill bait piece of shit. Sorry, it's just... It's a very shitty feeling, having a part of your body that you know they cut corners on. It fits, it's compatible, technically, I can slot it in and feel on balance again. But the fingers don't even bend and the quick twitch motors are way off. It's like walking around with your arm asleep or dead. So, were you wearing it when... You were arrested, yeah. Avoid that for now. Were you wearing it when you were arrested? No, I wasn't. But I'm pretty sure I saw the police bagging it as evidence, so... Can't have gotten too far. So Detective Reyes being quite literal about how he was found. He had the victim's blood on his left arm only, because at the time in question he didn't have a right. No inconsistencies in the story so far, and he's being open about as well as I can be expected. It's all been a warm-up for the both of us. Now comes to the delicate part. Carlos, you and the victim were romantically involved. How long did you two know each other? Right. I've known her since college. We shared a few classes, some mutual friends. Always got along. Eventually we just got together at some point. Guess I never actually asked her out the real formal way. Sounds pretty cowardly saying that out loud. Diane, she was in genetics, focused her studies on agriculture. Always takes them a few tries to get used to using past tense. Just finished a postgrad work this year. Got hired right out the gate, practically headhunted, you believe that? Practically headhunted. I mean, there's a hint of jealousy. That like if you wanted to paint him as like a wanting to be the big man, the earner, and you know she's doing better than him and he's struggling to get by, that kind of thing. Of course she was. Any company would be lucky to have her, and like it was a real ass job, paid real ass money too. So her career was starting to pan out. Right as yours had fallen into the mother of all slumps. Where was she hired? Peregrine Laboratories. I say that like the name matters. The whole setup's under Harco's umbrella. That doesn't narrow it down. The Harvest Corporation grows a third of the soybeans and corn in the entire country. One client that size, the lab wouldn't need any others. Now, no corporation earns their mega prefix without a little throat-cutting, but Harco is about as tame as big business can get. Predictable like the seasons, no one's going to buy that they had some lab tech murdered because of corporate greed. Had she adjusted well to her new job? Yeah, they loved having her there. She never mentioned arguments or disputes, corporate politics getting rough? I don't think so. Not like I've been a good listener lately. But I never got the impression that she... Look, no one I know could do this to her. And there's nothing she could have done that would deserve what happened to her. It was a long shot hoping for a disgruntled character from a past to shift blame onto. But with no other suspects, I can't just reshuffle the detective's suspicions. I'll have to disprove their argument entirely. Thank you, Carlos. That was very helpful. It was? Now I'd like you to try and tell me whatever you can about what happened tonight. Oh. Start at the beginning and take your time. The details are important. Alright, Miss, Morgan. I'll try, Morgan. When you're ready. We were arguing. We'd been arguing a lot lately. Arguing about stupid stuff. I hadn't been working, haven't been making money, haven't been pulling my weight. I was mad at myself, but more than that I was jealous of her. Jealous over nothing. Jealous over goddamn money. The reports say you were arguing about 8 PM? 8? Yeah, must have been when we started. We got into it and I said a lot of things I shouldn't have. I said one thing that I really shouldn't have. I crossed a line and we both knew it, so I left. Yes! That's another tick for Garen's theory. You left? Yeah, I walked out the front door. Thought some fresh air could help me cool off. Help me figure out what to say to make it up to her. Of course, the air wasn't fresh, just humid. Thick like mud. While I was pissing away the time, Diane was... Did you bring your phone with you, or any other electronics? No. I kind of stormed off, didn't even take my key fobs. Didn't even lock the door behind me. With optics down, traffic and street level cameras won't help him, that leaves... Did you go through a checkpoint, or talk to anyone with modded eyes? Did you buy anything, cash or credit? No, not even a vending machine. Not even a damn vending machine, huh? May have met my match. How can anyone be this unlucky? That's quite unfortunate. I just wanted quiet at the time, wanted to wallow in it, really. Sorry if I don't have all the details quite right. My head is... But if my exact route would help, the cam's probably... What? What is it? Optics was what? Can that even happen? And there's no other proof that you were out at the time Diane was killed. Meaning you've got no alibi. This can't... Listen, I didn't do this. I couldn't... Carlos, I'm the one person you don't have to try and convince. After all, I'm your lawyer. So let's get it all out there and see what we've got to work with. Right. Now, you said you left to clear your head. So what made you come back? I came back because I heard a noise. A loud noise. Didn't know what it was. But it was loud and it scared me. And it came from the direction of our apartment. I was walking back at first, but at some point I must have started running because when I got back I was so out of breath. When I saw that the front door was open, something dropped in my chest and my lungs wouldn't... You live on the first floor, right? Yeah, first floor apartment, street facing entrance. We were proud of that when we first moved in. Like it was some kind of big deal. From the hallway I saw her and I didn't realise... I never thought she was... The lights were off, the whole room was a mess. I thought we'd been robbed or she'd fallen or... There was broken glass furniture knocked over. And she was... I called her name and she didn't move. I checked her pulse and she was still warm, her blood was warm. And I saw the gun. It looked so heavy, but I thought it had to be fake because I didn't want it to be real. Is that why you picked it up? What? Pick it up? I didn't touch that thing. I didn't shoot her, damn it. Doing what I do, you hear a lot of lies. White lies, blatant lies, hasty lies. Bad lies especially. For me, it's always been easy to spot a lie. But it can be hard to know what to do about it. I have all the proof I need in my files, but he's nervous and defensive. And none of this works if he doesn't trust me. Stay up to date on the details of all evidence by checking your phone. If your clients notice you don't know what you're talking about, they'll stop giving you any credit. You did touch the gun, Carlos. That's just a fact, because it's not registered, it's untagged. He was found with it, but that's not proof of anything, but his prints are on it. It's a fact that your fingerprints are on that gun. What? But I didn't do this. I wasn't thinking. I was just... Carlos, all I'm saying is that you picked it up. That's all. Would you believe me if I said I didn't realise it was a gun? That explains how his prints got on the gun, but not in the way that would satisfy the police. I mean, to be honest, like, I've seen enough CSI to know that... God, I mean, that's an incredibly amateur statement, but I've seen enough CSI to know that prints on the outside of a gun are circumstantial. Like, even a print on the trigger, when a lot of people pick up a gun, their finger will automatically gravitate to the trigger. But it's the prints on the internal workings, you know, prints on the casing, prints on the mechanisms inside to show that the gun has been disassembled and reassembled by them. That is the damning stuff. Still, all of you did was hold the gun. So stupid. I know what a gun looks like. But seeing it in my own house, right in front of... You're in shock, Carlos. You still are. The police came in sometime after that. I don't remember much of what they said. Things started moving fast, it seemed like. The rest of my night went probably the way you'd expect. Carlos, you admit to having a verbal argument with Diane, but you said you were surprised to see the room trashed when you got back. To clarify, you're saying that you two never had a physical fight? What? Physical? We never fought. We never fought like that. Did the police say that we did? They assumed as much. Which means they also assumed the room was dishevelled well before the shooting occurred. Considering what Carlos has told me, what else did they assume? What is it? I'd like you to take a look at something for me. The crime scene. Oh. It's an AR module built from the data taken as the police entered, so... Right, it's just that... It's just data, Carlos. No grisly details. Okay, let me see it. Take your time. Alright, I think I've got it. That's how the police found things. Now close your eyes and think back to how the room looked when you left. Try and focus on what's out of place. Alright. I'll take notes, you just say whatever comes to mind. I don't remember exactly where everything was. But well, the mirror was upright of course. And that clock was still on the wall. The chair got knocked over at some point and the bed got tossed, the cushions torn. And the urn fell. Other than that... No, sorry, that's all that stands out to me. I see. Like so? Oh my god. What's wrong? Something out of place? Carlos, you need to trust your instinct. If anything seems off, don't be afraid to speak up. It's just, I guess I assumed your notes would be making edits to the AR. Well, I suppose that works too. Oh my god. Oh, I love this so much. Sorry, I didn't mean... I think your drawing was pretty good considering... Yeah, I'd like to change the subject now, Carlos. Right. Let's talk about the letter that was found on your desk. Letter? What do you mean? I mean this letter here, do you recognise it? Because the police are calling it a confession. A confession? But this is... This is just a note to self. Pardon? Look, when we fight, I lose my temper, say things that I mean to. So this morning I tried writing things down so I'd have a script to stick to. So I could apologise to her instead of just fighting with her. Carlos, you say in the note that you hurt them. That's I broke her fidget tubbies. Her what? Her what? Her fidget tubbies. They're these collects. Look at the music. They're these collectible ceramic character things. The ceramic. So they're the ceramic mess on the floor. They're supposed to be like tactile. You use them as paperweights. Conversation starters. Conversation starters. She loved those little things. They're not worth a damn. You could buy them at any flea market or garage sale, but they meant a lot to her. And I broke them. I mean, I was pissy at the time, but that goddamn piece of shit rental arm, I hardly know where I'm swinging it half the time. Got so angry I just ripped it off and tossed it in my room. That cheap, dusty, worthless... Okay, let's say he did break her frigid duckies with his replacement arm. What does that change? Nothing at the moment. There's not enough detail in the note for me to prove what his intent was when he sat down to write it. But if the police insist on claiming it's a confession for the Heartbreak killings anyway, couldn't even bother to sweep them up, I felt so... Alright Carlos, thanks for answering my questions. Now I'm going to call the police back in here and I'm going to get this cleared up for you. What? That's it? That's it? Okay. Although before I do that, I do have to ask, what do you know about the Heartbreak Killer?